what I'm trying to do here is actually very difficult. I'm trying to use words in a clip where my mission is to break down words. But it is like fighting fire with fire. I am like you, a human who at one point in his life found out that he has a mission. We all come to this world with a mission, and that we all have different missions, but I'm talking about those who come to the world with a moral sense. There is a certain moral accountability that we have to take in consideration in this lifetime. We cannot simply avoid that. We cannot simply run away from that. Those who run away from that, they had past life. They had not lived life. They come and they go unnoticed. But this is not my case. And this is not the case of those of you who can understand me, because what I'm trying to attempt is actually very difficult. We live in a world that the measure and the value of the word have been demeaned and obliterated to an extent that whatever we say, whatever we utter, no longer bring forth a true value or an equal amount of the emotions, feelings, thoughts, considerations, decisions that we take within. And that had created a world full, covered with one big lie. Lies that you see in every single step that you take. Lies that you see in a city where we assume that a city, for example, is a place to live. Lies in the food, the processed food that we eat. Lies in the abuse of nature. Lies in the abuse of animals. Lies in the thought that we can love and give compassion through images. The image took place, acquired power beyond any imaginable limit or measurement ever took place before. In this time we live now, diseases and sickness had different measures and different levels, never been as such before in the entire human history. The power of the image had took place never ever before in the entire history. Money, the lust after power. And then suddenly you wake up like I do and you find out that the entire life we live in is a lie. And once you had acquired the details of such a lie, you wonder, what can I do about it? Mainly, what can I do anything about it? Mainly we surrender, or like certain good people, they try to find solutions through concrete channels, whether it was in the understanding of nutrition or the understanding of philosophy or meditation or the understanding of sickness in a different way than the orthodox medical doctor, or understanding of love, of compassion, the power of the mind over matter, the power of the mind over the body. And they go to these channels, and they are now famous people all around. I'm going to show you right now some of those famous people who are making powerful changes around the world through narrow channels. Not that I don't admire that, or I think the word admire is not really the right word. Not that I don't accept that. Nevertheless, it is lacking. One cannot ever be able to cure somebody who is living in an office every single day of her life, sitting behind a computer in a building that you have to go through traffic for half an hour to find a parking down in a dark place in the garage, take an elevator all the way to a concrete building and then go to that cubicle and then still believe that what you are doing is actually beneficial. Let's not use the word beneficial, that what you are doing is necessary. That is a lie. And yet, suddenly, this woman or this person or whatever will have, for example, a skin rash from top to bottom, and then what do we do again for that? We try to send her. Of course, she went before to the orthodox doctors where she took antibiotics and antihistaminics and God knows what. And then we send her to some alternative medicine, people who, for example, a Reiki healer, who start looking at her head and tell her to repeat certain things. Or we send her, for example, to a someone who will measure, for example, the brain waves at a certain time of when he puts in certain music or certain sounds or whatever it is. It's always sent her to someone else who, for example, will be able to measure her biochemical reactions all the way down to the microbial level, where the mitochondria or the liposomes, whatever, they are not really functioning, or she had certain zinc deficiency, all of these things. And yet, I see all of that, and I see that still those efforts that have been done are done within the catastrophic, poisonous atmosphere, cocoon that surrounds them. I do not believe that we can heal actually through whatever measures that you can take while you are doing those measures in a city or in an office or in a clinic with electrical and computerized machines. I do not believe that. I believe again and again that the only way that we could be able to achieve some sort of a mass healing or mass understanding of life is to go back to retreat. What happened in the last 2 centuries is that we had crossed so much after the machine, after exploiting Mother Earth, after depleting her resources in an extent that never took place before, simply because we are able to invent a machine that could dig hard in the heart of this earth and exploit as much as possible by bringing powerful ships with steel nets and gathering all the amount of fish that many of which could not even have the chance to reproduce again, and many of which became extinct. And yet, all of that still is covered with words. Words that at one time were holy. Words that at one time we engraved in stone so that we can outlast time and outlast catastrophes and changes and weather and all of that. And now we are just using them in so many books and newspapers and big advertisements all around the world, all around cities and all around in every road. Books and books and books that means nothing. One of the books that we can show you now, says something like, where is it? Something called A Radical Remission by somebody called Kelly A. Turner, and then beside it PhD. All these titles are very important. I have many of those ones, but I never care to put any of this. And then what is written behind the book, and in red color and in white and in big letters, discover the 90. First of all, the 90, that number on its own is something that we use to inflict a certain scheme which could be obtained and calculated, because this is how the mind now is able or have to function, only according to certain schemes and numbers and bullets and all of that thing. This is why it says 9 key factor to unlock. The word unlock again, like it gives you the feeling that you've been locked. Locked does not mean that you are sick, but locked means that you have been unable to realize the presence of certain abilities that you already have, but whatever this person is giving you the book for is only to give you the tools and the keys to unlock your your positive way to a dramatic healing. And it uses the word dramatic healing. Now, books like this are everywhere. Books how to make your first million. Books how to attract the attention of people. Books like how can you find love? How can you be the best employee in the company? How? As if we come to this world having nothing of value, having nothing of abilities, having nothing of character, and suddenly we find ourselves a number within the multitude of numbers, driven in cities, driven in cars, driven in boxes, in cubicles, in God knows what. We had jumped from 2 billion into 7.8 billion in only 150 years, simply because we had been extracting power in a way that never been done before. You know, I'm really not here to show myself. I'm not here to stand in front of a video. I'm not at all that person. Maybe I used to be at one point when I had a bit of knowledge, but when you access the amount of knowledge and awareness that I was privileged to access right now, you don't care anymore. You come to the world, and at one point you find that you are standing in front of a true message. A message that has nothing to do with your acknowledgement through the world outside. The world would never acknowledge me. I mean, look at Friedrich Nietzsche. I remember one time of his books, I think the one called Beyond Good and Evil, when he accused his publisher that he was unable to really publish his books and to market them. He decided himself to publish them, and he was able only to sell 146 copies. His books now are second published to the Bible. He came early, too early. Now, I'm not trying to compare myself to this or that. I have my own entity, but this is again not the issue. The issue is that I am aware of certain factors that truly is destroying the world. And I'm aware of certain abilities that I can do, and I have to do, I have to go through, I have to cross a certain barrier in order to bring this kind of information to you or to the world, and then die in peace. Because at the end, if I come and go just piling a huge amount of shit and just extracting a huge amount of food and then just going in and out, because I have my nice BMW, I had made that beautiful villa out in the south of France, or God knows what, this is not the issue. My issue here, and because of that, I decided to encroach upon a very difficult subject and a project, which I call the Dictionary of Values. The Dictionary of Values is a book that I'm writing now, and through this book, I will be able to explain again every single word, not every single word, I'm not explaining, for example, the word, actually I could explain every single word, but you know, I mean, even the word chair or a bullet or a desk or a lamp, sometimes we think they are what they are, but actually they have a completely different meaning according to the function that we took now. A chair now, for example, you go inside a place and you find a house, a new house, full of chairs, and you say, Why do I need to sit all the time? Sofas and cushions and photons and God knows what, and then it is no longer a chair. You look at a word like marketing and then you realize there is no real marketing. This is a robbery from one place to another place, from the poor to the rich, and then packed nicely and with colors and with images and with an army of advertising agents completely programmed only to bring that product out into a supermarket, which is not really a supermarket. It's not called supermarket. This is a ulcer oozing with pus, and we assume that this is where we can get our vegetables and food, even those that we call organic. But what I'm trying to say is that all these definitions have come at one point to an end, a dead end. They no longer mean anything to me. And I can see things differently. I can see what the word business means or what a necktie is. I can see that, for example, a country or a nation like China is only the toilet of the world, or another one like Dubai, which is only a parasite of the world. Or one like the USA, the axis of evil of the world. One like Israel, the very venom. And through here and there, you realize again and again that there must be a new definition of words. And this episode is the 0 episode. This is where I explain myself. I explain the target, I explain the project and what do I intend to do with it. So after that, every time there is an episode 1, 2, 3, I will bring a word. And I will bring it first of all to read it in my book at my computer. Yes, I'm using a computer. And then I will explain it as vehemently, as widely, as simply as possible, to be able to bring you in a completely different awareness. For example, people say to each other, this is one of the most common mistakes ever, I love you. Well, you don't understand that what they did was only a feeling that comes from a need, or that comes from a lust, or it comes from the want of being with someone, because at the end we are social animals. We do not understand, for example, that how could somebody say I love you and then after that betray someone else by going to bed with someone else, for example. That does not really work, because that person did not understand that love is actually setting a brick of trust one after the another until you make a path. That love is a path, is a journey. Now, I had picked up a bit of clips from 2 main films, one called Home, one of the most amazing videos I ever seen in my life, where it really shows how this earth grew from nothing until it became rich, and then how we exploited it, how we had abused it. And the other one is called Heal, which is as well a good, more or less video that explains more or less other alternatives of how to heal oneself and proofs of how one can actually use mind over matter. But my argument lies in the fact that the mind is not something that comes out from heaven. The mind is not something that could be taken as an entity on its own. It does not exist as such. A mind of somebody in China is completely different from a mind of somebody in Jordan. Even if you take the same person, if you had a potential ability to take the same person and in one lifetime you put him in Jordan and then you put him in another lifetime in China, you'll find a completely different understanding of life and decisions and thoughts and behavior, simply because the mind is at the end is like a sponge. It reacts to the environment, nothing else. I am so different from my siblings simply because I traveled 65 countries. They haven't traveled more than 2 or 3. This is one of the factors, for example. So, and in this film here, I will show you some of those people who come with good energy, but somehow as well they had abused such energy to become commercial. And they make books, and they make videos, and they make lectures, and they put people into machinery. And for me, the entire thing, what they do, takes place within offices and within machinery and within cities and within streets and all of that. For me, the only way to go back to become a better person in body and in mind is simply to be able to break down every single brick in every single city and build back communities. Whoever comes to tell you, even those people that comes and supposedly to be really good people or gurus or whatever it is, they still talk within that frame. They are unable to release themselves from the power, from the grip of the moment. They believe again and again that wherever we are now in here, in that kind of civilization, is something that we had met in an inevitable way. But I don't believe that. I believe that what makes us, look at one of the cities, for example, look at the small town, the small village Shanghai in China. In 20 years it had 700 skyscrapers. Why? Because of the power that they can have. The power of oil, the power of the machinery. The abuse of something like that. That kind of abuse is, for me, is what had brought us into that evolutionary step, and not that evolution is a path that stands outside of us, already drawn, already made, already colored, and we simply step onto it whether we like or not. No, we had drawn, we had sculptured with our hands, our teeth, and our feet, with greed, with lust of money, with power. We had sculptured that path. We had sculptured our evolution, and evolution became a trap, and we became the prey, though we thought we are the hunters. I'm attempting in this book to show that we cannot rely on those limited channels of changes that now it is spreading further and further in the world through certain spiritual entities or mindfulness or life coaches or all these new status of people coming in trying to find identity, while actually inside of themselves, regardless they are good, bad. I don't want to use good and bad too much, but to me, because I'm so much inclined to right and wrong, I am inclined, pushed somehow, someplace, somewhere to use these words. But at the end, because I see that the end result of something like that have not yet brought changes that I believe in, is very dramatic and necessary. If we have to continue that path, otherwise we will all be doomed to diseases, to depression. Look how many people are depressed in the world. Why? They are living in cities. This guy is coming from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock to work as a garbage cleaner for 35 years, and then he got on pension. Who on earth said that? Who on earth said that you have to take a work all the time, all your life, and then change maybe from one to another one, mainly by changing the course of the path, not by changing the path itself? No, this cannot be done. We are living in the wrong way of thinking, of imperialism, of capitalism, of USA, American titles and thoughts and ways of life and directions of life and pathways that have been destroying the world entire, because it is again and again depending on enslaving humanity. You have the right to come to this world with a smile. You have the right to come to this world and find a land that it is yours without you have to really fight for that. It is your right to have your home, and your right to have your water, and your right to have your light. We don't have the right to put you again and again into that constant fear that if you don't do that, you will not be able to reach safety. If you read the novel of George Orwell, 1984, even the Animal Farm, all of this is happening, taking place. We're injecting people more and more with radiation. We're injecting them more and more with fast food and bad quality food. And they are turning to become more and more violent without understanding why. You know, for example, just the loss of vitamin B3 could turn a rat to become carnivorous, and she can eat her own children just by depriving it of vitamin B3. Do you know, for example, that if you bring a certain capsule and you put poison in it and you put it into a jar, a big jar of 50 liters, 100 liters of water for 2 weeks, though there is no contact between that poison and the water, if you take that water, which is still supposedly cleaned according to physical and chemical measures, and give it to rats and lab animals, they will die. Where is the connection? We are all connected. There is an unbelievable connection to every single thing in the world. I'm not just a body. It is not by chance that I come to this world among thousands of species, and I can speak and I can accumulate memory in my hippocampus, and I can move elegantly, and I can dance, and I can sing, and I can make love. It's not by chance. We are here, the guardians of this earth. We come with these abilities and skills not to destroy and not to kill, to guard this earth. She had favored us so that we can help her. We are her best, most favored son, who at the end betrayed her. That is not right. I do not wish you to subscribe. These people who come to the YouTube and ask you to subscribe, no matter what good knowledge they have, they are a part of a lie. I don't want any of that. I have a message, and I'm using this technology only to be able to come to you. I hope in 2-3 years I will settle in my house that I'm building with my own hands in the desert, and I will not even open a phone. But before that, there is a mission, a message that I have to give you, and then I can go in peace, whether you know me or not. You can follow all these people that comes around, like this new guy called Charles Eisenstein. Beautiful mouth, beautiful words, yet still through the channel of the mind over body and the mind of whatever, and this words that at the end he is unable to get out, for example, from that big frame and say, let's destroy these cities. Let's take all these bricks down. Let's no longer have cars. Let's no longer have cubicles and offices, because it is there where the very first problem started. It is there through that line that we took of life, that line of earning our money, a line that had no more pride, no more honor, as if words as such had been only used in old classic books, and you don't see or hear anyone using them anymore. We need to go back. We had jumped certain steps in evolution which are not good. It's exactly when you are taking the wrong path at one point, when you're going from point A to point B, then realize, whoops. You will not continue and find out somehow, some place, somewhere, a cross or a passage or a outlet to reach back at the original line. No, you will go back. You will go back, even if it was hurting, even if it was time-consuming. In any case, what is time? That factor that we chase again and again, race against, only to have more money, more power. If you like what you see, not like, if you agree with what you hear, if you can find in me a bit of a person who had a glimpse of a different way of understanding and correcting this world, then please, all what I ask you is to share. Don't subscribe, don't like it even if you want. Just share with other people. So that bit by bit, those elite people who still have the understanding and the awareness and could stand outside the mass hypnotized, the mass hypnosis, maybe we can make a change. Maybe we can make a difference. If you are that person, all what I ask you, just share this clip. And I will go for it now.